Hi everyone, Sophia here for my great challenge. Happy Easter everybody. I'm making an Easter bread. This is the traditional crown bread with the sprinkle and the colored eggs in it that are baked with the bread in the oven. So this is a recipe that I got from allrecipes.com and they rated it at 4.5 stars out of 5. It's called the Braided Easter egg bread. The link is down below if you want the recipe itself, if you want a printed copy. I've had it before, but it was store-bought. This is the first time I'm actually making this bread. So real quick, I'm gonna go through the ingredients. You need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, 2/3 of a cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter. You need another 2 tablespoons of butter, which you're going to melt. This is 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm adding 2 eggs to that, a pack of yeast or leavening powder. Now, I know this says levure chimique. This is French. Mom sends me stuff from France all the time. I gotta be honest, this is much better than the stuff you find here at the store, but this is pretty common stuff. You go to the store, you go to the baking aisle, and you'll find yeast or you'll find leavening powder. I'm gonna use the whole pack. These are whole eggs and they are uncooked. I'm going to dye them first. They are not getting cooked, they're getting cooked in the oven with the bread. So I'm putting them to the side because I'm not dyeing anything yet. But basically, these are all of the ingredients that you need. Pretty simple. The first thing I want to do is take my milk and put it in a small saucepan. And I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of butter. And what I'm going to do is put this on the stove at very low heat. What I want is for the butter to soften and the milk to warm up. But I do not want to melt the butter, nor do I want the milk to boil. So I'm using a large bowl, and in it I'm going to combine 1 cup of flour. Remember, I have 2.5 cups so far. So here's 1 cup. I'm adding the sugar, the salt, and my pack of leavening powder. Give it a stir. Taking the wedding band out, and I'm going to start adding my butter and milk gradually. So I'm using, this is a 1/4 cup or 59 millimeters worth of the liquid. So I'm just adding a little bit at a time, and this is the part where you just gotta basically stir everything. Here's a 1/2 cup of flour. So you see, you're adding the ingredients gradually. I'm going to use my countertop and some of the remaining flour that I have, and I'm going to knead my dough. So we're just going to keep kneading, and while I'm at it, getting rid of all of the extra that I have on my hands. I've just washed the red bowl I used to prep my dough. I'm going to put a little bit of vegetable oil Don't put olive oil, it'll give a different taste to your bread. I'm taking a paper towel and I'm coating the bottom of my bowl with the oil. I'm gonna add a little bit more, like this. I'm going to place my dough in it, and I want to coat it in all of the oil. So don't forget the sides, like this. Now the dough has to rise, so I have a damp cloth. You see there's all the water on it. Okay, so I'm just going to cover my bowl like this, and this is going to go in the oven. Now the oven is not on. The reason why I'm putting it in the oven is because I have the pilot light, so it's giving me a warm place to rise the dough. This has to be in the oven for about an hour. It has to double in volume. So let me put it in right now, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. Okay, here's the dough. It's been in the oven for an hour. Didn't rise too much, and I think it's because I used leavening powder and not yeast, but that's okay. It still rose a little bit. It's probably going to rise a little bit more in the oven. So I'm just going to deflate it a little bit. And what you're supposed to do now is spread it into 2 equal halves, like this. Make 2 nice little balls. Okay, like that. Cover it, and that goes back in the oven or warm place for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, and what we need to do now is shape the crown. I'm going to put that to the side. And basically take this, and you want to roll it into a very long roll. You gotta pinch the end right here and start making a loose bread like this, and then join it again here. Add my eggs, one right here, one right here, and the last one. This was supposed to come out purple, by the way, and it came out brown. Stretch it out, make it a nice round. Okay, I have the buttered pan right here. I'm just going to transfer this as best as can, like so. Okay, make sure I pinch all of this. So this is shaped, I have my eggs in it, and this one looks like it's going to fall, so I want to make sure I got it nicely tucked in. I'm going to push them in a little bit, like this. I'm going to cover this again, and it's going back in the oven with the damp cloth over it for 45 minutes so that it rises a little bit more. So this has been in the oven for another 45 minutes and it risen a little bit more, which is good because I was kind of concerned about that. It did leave some stain on my towel, but that's alright, I can put that in the wash. So this is the other 2 tablespoons of butter that I had previously shown you. I melted it in the microwave with a tiny bit of milk, and I have a paper towel here that I'm going to use to coat the top of my bread, so that when it goes in the oven, I have a nice coat of shiny color on it. Now, the oven has been preheated at 350 degrees. And I'm going to add a little bit of sprinkles. My concern with sprinkles is that I never know if they're going to melt and then leave a whole bunch of blobs of color rather than staying whole. So we'll find out. So this is done, it's ready to go in the oven. I'm going to again put it in the oven at 350 degrees, and this is going to bake for 50 to 55 minutes. So what you want to remember is halfway through your baking your bread, you want to turn the whole cookie sheet around so that you have an even cooking and even color all around your crown. So I'll be back in 55 minutes and we'll see whether or not that leavening powder that I replaced instead of the yeast actually helped the bread rise a little bit more. So here it is, and I have to say this is not bad for a first try. It did rise some more, you can see from the side, and it's got a nice crunch to it. I'm gonna let it cool a little bit and try it. The only thing that I don't like about it is that the dye kind of like, you know, bleeds on the bread itself. When you get the ones that are store-bought, they're always beautifully glazed on top, and for some reason they manage not to get the egg to you know, bleed to the sides. So I don't know how to do it. This is my first time. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. It smells really, really good. This is a bread, this is not a cake. So again, I did not use yeast, I used leavening powder. So it's probably gonna taste more like a probably like an Irish soda bread more than anything else. So if you use yeast, it's gonna be rising more and you'll probably get a fluffier texture to it. So there you have it. This is an Italian breaded Easter bread, and again, this is the first time I make it. I'm going to try it for you because I used leavening powder instead of the yeast. It's probably gonna have the texture of the soda bread from St. Patrick's Day. This is pretty good. So this was really fun to make. It does take a long time because you have to wait for the leavening and all of that. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty good recipe. Am I going to make it again? Probably so, because I wanted to see what it would be like if I was using yeast instead of leavening powder. but it does again have the very same texture than Irish soda bread. So if you like Irish soda bread, make your Italian braided Easter egg with leavening powder instead of using yeast. If you want more of a challah bread type texture, which is a little bit fluffier, use the yeast, definitely. Otherwise, I think I like it. Anyway, this was Sophia from my grid challenge. Give me a thumbs up if you like watching this video and you like this recipe. Again, the link is down below if you want the full recipe from allrecipes.com and you want to print it and put it in your archives. Alright, so like it, subscribe if you are new, share if you want it, and I guess I'll talk to you later. Bye! Happy Easter!